Right, welcome in, travelers. I see I already have people in here. Sevens, Gamma, my husband, as he should be. Cough, cough. All right, so hi, how is everybody? Hopefully, today's gonna be a little bit easier of a stream now that I've gotten my debut out of the way and all of the nervousness back. But let's go ahead and start. Ceiling moth. Cozy is Australian today. Did I speak with an Australian accent?
No.
Oh, I'm upside down. I forgot that I was upside down. I'm not gonna lie. But yes, I am upside down. Look, I set it up earlier and then I just completely forgot. Okay, alright, I've had other things happening. Anyway, I wanted to start cabin news with the joke that me and Hydra have been talking about for a while. Is that I am a drink goblin. I like to hoard my. So I wanted to share with you guys what drinks I have today. So I have a peach blossom herbal tea. So it's kind of, if you. I missed the peach. Fell into the cup. So that's fine. I also got McDonald's Sprite. And then for drink number 3, I have apple juice. Like my apple juice. And finally, drink number 4, I have water. So I will be well hydrated today. Alright, well, you guys need to let me know what you guys are drinking. I'm assuming everybody has a cup of tea, and if you don't, go make a cup of tea. Hey, Toast. Sprite apple juice. Well, they're separate, but yeah. I cannot hear stream. I just love it so. Thank you, Toast. Oh, Gamma, you're drinking peach tea too? Oh, liquid death iced tea. Well, I mean, that's close enough. I'll take it. Okay, so last time I fucked up and I did not talk about projects very well, so I wanted to make sure to actually talk about my projects this time. So, I have quite a few, unfortunately. As Kami has pointed out, I have roughly over 11 projects that I'm working on right now. Whoop. So, I wanted to talk about the ones that I wanted to get done while on stream. So this one is the same one as last time. I can't believe you didn't stream perfectly the first time. How could you? I know, right? I'm a perfectionist. My soul died a little bit. Just a little bit. Just by a lot, actually. So this project that I'm working on, that I will work on today, is my wedding blanket. And a wedding blanket for me is what I usually do for friends and stuff like that, is that people send me their wedding colors, and I will make a blanket using those wedding colors. Hi, Dan. What's up, fucker? So, for me and Hydra, our wedding colors are white, purple, big shock, and teal. That's how I say fucker, damn. It was fucker. Fuck off. Oh. Anyway. So, this I have been working on for only 4 years. And I was supposed to finish it on our anniversary that was last month. Hi, Poppy. Wow, it's almost like those are the colors of my model. I know. Wild. Almost like you did that on purpose. Ha ha. Ha ha. If you say fuck off really fast, it makes you sound like a chicken. Oh, is my auto mod just like banning everything that Dan says because Dan's a fucker? Well, clearly it's correct because Dan is a fucker. Anyway, so last time, that tracks. Throw hands with auto mod. We'll get it fixed, Dan. God. Fuck. So last time I had an obscene amount of yarn. It was everywhere, a nice big pile that was about to become a horrendous knot, plus this ball of yarn. And look, I only have the ball of yarn. That's it. That's it. I'm so proud of myself. I got a lot of shit done. Yay. Anyway. So, that is a project that I will be working on tonight because I do want to get this done. My biggest plans are to honestly... I don't know how well you all... Hey, Poppy. But I have basically, it's a row of single stitch, double stitch. What I want to do is to do double stitch, or single stitch, double stitch, single stitch, double stitch, single stitch. That sounded like complicated, but it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. I'm the one who's going to do it, so it's okay. So that's the plan for this, and then once I get to that point, basically having 2 double stitch, thinking maybe a 3rd one. You're worried about it, Poppy? Poppy, I said don't worry about it. You're not allowed. But once I get at least 2 rows of these, I'm thinking about maybe a 3rd. We'll see. It depends on how much yarn I have, which this is probably like a good half a pound left. Poppy, stop panicking. So we'll see how much yarn I have left by that point to see whether or not I'm going to do a 3rd row or not. And once I finish with that, I have many more projects that I want. This project, okay, is very, very special. And it's one that I've been working on incredibly slowly. But I need to get this done by Christmas. And we are rapidly approaching Christmas. I'm in trouble. This is a blanket for my grandfather. Made out of scrap yarn from my grandmother who passed. So she left me basically a bunch of random yarn. I have no idea what it is. It's different types. It's different, like, feels. It's different weights. It's different everything. Okay. So my plan was to make this for my grandfather out of spare yarn that his wife had, my grandmother. So this needs to get done ASAP. So as soon as I finish the wedding blanket, it's this. I need to get this done. That is like a, oh my god. But when you compare the yarn ball sizes, I think I'll be able to get things done a little bit quicker. This is the yarn that I'm currently using for this blanket. No idea what it is. It's a blue yarn. Very soft. And that's all the information I have about this. Versus this half a pound of yarn. So, once I can get our wedding blanket done, I can work on this. And I wanted to show also, so let me put this away, because I'm not working on it tonight. Not happening. But this is a project that I'm working on just for me. Alright, I am tangled. Mess of my own making. Oh my god. Yarn everywhere. Okay. This blanket, or this scarf. You might recognize some of the colors, and you might not, and that's okay if you don't. But this is my Winnie the Pooh scarf. Oh, okay. Okay, you're right. It's Tigger colors. Okay. Your colors. Okay, okay. Pooh Bear colors. You remember, actually, Kami, this is the leftovers from the baby blanket that I made my friend. This is the leftover yarn. So Pooh Bear colors, and then I have Piglet colors. This is almost done. Once I finish with the Piglet color, I'm gonna go around and do the border with this lovely green. I think it's actually called forest green. It's pine heather. That's the color it is. It's green. From Lionheart brand, which is my favorite type of yarn. If you were ever to buy me yarn, buy me this yarn. So I'll do this around the edge of the scarf, and that'll be like the 100 Acre Woods, you know, because I'm happy like that, and I like doing this stuff. So that's my next project. After the, oh my god, immediate ones that I need to get done are done, I'm going to work on this. I also work on this in my spare time in my chair when we're watching Hydra. This one gets worked on anyway, kind of by itself. So you'll see updates of this one pretty regularly because I work on it anyway. And last but not least, this project. Okay, this project I have plans for. Very lovely for this. This is a sweater. It's a sweater I've been working on for about a little over a year. Actually more. Probably about 3 years. It doesn't have sleeves. So, once I finish Winnie the Pooh blanket, I'm going to take my tiny squares and I'm going to make sleeves. So that'll be entertaining to watch because it'll be a lot of me sewing and swearing because I usually swear when I sew. And I was going to try to remember what the yarn was for these little squares because they're very pretty. Very pretty little. And all I know is that this yarn is discontinued. Understandable. Yeah, I don't... It's been 3 years, man. I don't know. But all I know is this yarn is discontinued because I can't get any more. And the edges are just red heart, like your basic yarn, or brown. It's just red heart. That's about it. So, these are the projects that I'm going to be working on either off stream and then on stream. So you will see these in and out. But to help you guys keep me on track, I have found what I want my next project to be. So you guys can keep me honest. Because if I can finish the wedding blanket, Pop's blanket, Winnie the Pooh sweater, or scarf, and my sweater, I can make a blanket with this. Beautiful. Lovely. It's actually my favorite type of yarn. I love this yarn. It only comes out once a year, but it's really thick, as you can see. And it's really squishy. And I abstractly love this blanket. yarn. She very thick. Like, that's my hand. With 2 hands, I can't. Oh, so squishy. Lovely. Fucking love this yarn. And anytime I make blankets out of this yarn, it's like the best thing ever. Everybody has always complimented me on this yarn and these blankets that I make using this yarn. But this is for me. Not for anybody else. Fine. Me and mine. I only am going to make this for me. And Hydra, but you know. That's secondary. This is mine. So, this is my reward for finishing my projects. So you guys need to help me finish my projects so I can finally use this. Alright. And last but not least, what are you all working on? I'm sure if you guys have a project or something that y'all are working on, this is a good sit and vibe stream. So feel free to have something that you're working on while we work on my wedding with. I think Hydra is playing video games and vibing. Dan has many projects. Dan has an obscene amount of projects that he is working. Some of them are mine because I will ask him to edit it later. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you, Dan. Alright. Poor Dan. Poor Dan. Alright, well, I think with that, I have gone over my goblin drinks of today. I have also gone over my projects for today. I don't know, I think, BRB, I'm gonna make an antifreeze and Clorox cocktail. You know what? Make me one, too. And... oh, shush, Hydra. That's moderator Dan. Yes, so, for anybody who doesn't know, Dan is the editor for, like, our entire friend group. And he's also a moderator in Poppy's chat. So it's really funny that he has a emote that's basically... hang on, I will read that. He has an emote in Poppy's chat, which is basically Dan Grumpy dressed up in a penguin onesie. Love it. Dr. Professor Dandrick. I'm just gonna start calling you that now. Dandrick, I'm just gonna start calling you by your full name now. Just full-blown Dandrick. He is Dan in uniform. Yeah. He is. I love that. I love that for everybody, honestly. Alright. Well, I guess with that, I've gone over my topics for chit chat. Everybody, great night. It's Friday, so fuck yeah, let's enjoy. And I guess let's get started. Is my tea cold yet? Or probably not. The answer is no. I kind of burned a little bit. That's okay. It's very hot. Anyway. Okay, so let's get started. Also, I did want to mention this is a Poppy safe stream. I won't be talking about anything gory, bloody, murdery, or anything else. So Poppy is very welcome to stay. Yay. Alright, so let me talk about tarot decks. So, I have been a tarot reader for quite a long time. I'm not really sure how long I've been a tarot reader. I want to say I started my training when I was like a teenager, and now I'm not a teenager anymore, so many years, we'll say. And I wanted to start off with the tarot history so that like you guys could get an idea of what tarot is. before we kind of hop into the meaning, the divination properties of it, that kind of stuff, right? So, let me see. So, Tarot Deck began as like a group of playing cards. You do have to head out for the night, stupid work in the morning. That's okay, Poppy. It was lovely having you for as long as we did. I appreciate it. You have a good sleep. I too am gonna pass out. I haven't slept in a normal hour in about 6 days. Dan? 5 hours of sleep at night for nearly a week. Dan? Get the fuck out of here. Go sleep. Get gone. Fuck off. Puppy, I love you. Good night. Dan, get the fuck out of here. Anyway. So, the deck of cards kind of became as like a playing cards in the 15th century when like everybody was kind of just bored, which is fair. And it began in Italy and then quickly spread across like everywhere. Night, Dan. Get the fuck out of here and go to sleep. Ooh, fuck off. Lovingly, fuck off. So, originally, the best that I could find with the history I could find is that it was kind of just a playing deck of cards, which, if you've ever seen a playing deck of cards, I mean, y'all should have at this point. A tarot deck is not that different. It is, but it's not entirely. It has a set of like kings, queens, jokers. It has all of that stuff too. So you can actually technically read tarot using a regular card deck. I have no idea how people do that. It is a complete and entire mystery. But some people do. Not the way I read tarot though. Let me see. So it was, it's the 15th century, and usually all of these decks are hand painted, because, not like everybody had the printing press, right? So, deck of cards were really kind of dependent on who you knew and what card deck you played with. If you played with Bob's deck would look like this. If you played with Mary's deck, it looked like this. So everybody kind of had their own different type of deck. And there was a lot of regional difference. So Bob would have this type of deck and it wouldn't have a king. Robert over here would have a deck that wouldn't have Pentacles, which is basically a type of card. I'll explain. Just go with the vibes. Okay? Go with the vibes. So, it really just kind of depended on who you knew and what card deck you played with. Now, of course, this was just kind of the status for about 300 years. As one does, just has the status quo for 300 years. And then people started being able to use it as a way of kind of predicting the future, guessing the future. Divination started really kind of becoming a thing in the 18th century by the French. Which, I hate the French. No offense, French. But I hate old French. And this one I'm like, oh, of course, it's the French. It's always the French. They spell with every kind of weird letter out there. Of course, they would come up with this. But whatever. So, let me see. I'm gonna butcher his name, and I apologize, but he should be dead, so he shouldn't come after me. The guy's name was Jean-Baptiste Pitois. Pitois? I'm gonna go with Pitois. And he was born in 1811, so he really ought to be dead. And he is usually accredited with the deck that we have today. So the deck looking French. Yes, Kami, that's exactly how I feel about the damn print. and letters to things that you don't need letters. So that they could be fancy, which, granted, it is very fancy, but meh. Oh, let me grip on my stitch. Important stitch intermission. Okay. I'm not. So, he's the first one to be really accredited with the deck that we know today. And the deck today that we have is separated out. There's 78 cards. Okay. So there is a major arcana and then there is a minor arcana. Major arcana is going to be like your big player cards. Your minor arcana is going to be like your deck type cards. So, and there's a label between them, you know, because that's how these work. So, Jean wrote in, let me see, of 1859 at the age of 48. Oh, I'm going to have to say that. And that's very French. Oh, shit. Yes, but playing cards is 52, 54. Yes, so that is the thing. Is that the minor arcana is going to be the ones that are 52. And then the other, 26 cards is major arcana. So you have these extras that a lot of people don't usually have, but this is what you need for divination. These 78 cards. Anyway, so John wrote, History de la magie du monde supernatural et de la facile travelers el tempest et el puoles. I horrendously butchered that, but just go with it. Basically, it's the history of magic, the supernatural world, and fate through times and peace. We're gonna go with that, because I can't do that again. I probably just pissed off so many French people, and I apologize. I'm really sorry. So, he wrote this during a time where Catholics were very, 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 very popular and had a lot of control. So, this was kind of a problem because he wrote this and people were very upset. And he was just trying to be like, hey, look, it's the history of this. It's not saying that, like, you should do any of this with these cards that we have here. Ahem, cough, cough. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying that you could technically do that if you do. Wink, wink, wink. Just saying. You could. Okay. So, the Catholics let him go with that, which is shocking, because Catholics never let anything go. But they let him go with that. So he got away scot-free, kind of. Sort of. So people were using this as a divination thing, but everybody pretty much just figured it was a nice parlor trick. Which everybody was like, yes, parlor trick. Mm-hmm. Oh, we don't use this regularly. What? Oh, that's weird. So, the deck that everybody knows. This is the deck that everybody usually has at least one set. And it is called the Rider-Waite deck. This is a deck that, like, if you go to talk to any person who reads tarot, they're gonna have this deck. But the deck that is in a lot of, like, TV, movies, video games, are usually the Rider-Waite deck. It is the standard. Which I have right here. This is my Rider-Waite deck. And this is based off of a couple of people. It was published in 1909. I was about to say 2000. Wrong number. Whole 1,000 years off. It's fine. Fine. No, 1909. Written by, or published by William and Riders and Sons. So here, there's your Rider. And based on instructions by A.E. Wright. In the White deck. who wrote The Key to Tarot. Okay? And these are the two guys that most people know when you're talking about tarot. Because, Rider-Waite deck. But everybody always forgets that Pamela Coleman Smith is the one who actually drew. So, William Rider published it, so he put the deck out there. A.E. Wright wrote the instructions on how to use them, but Pamela Coleman Smith, she's the one who's the actual artist. She's the one that we have to attribute how tarot looks and how everybody sees tarot. So don't forget about her. She's very important. So there is also quite a bit of history on William Writers and Sons publishing. That is a whole deep dive that people can do on their own if they want to. I'm not going to go through it today because it's a huge side trek. It's a side quest. If you wanted to go do that, enjoy. It's a lot of, he backstabbed me, he took my money, I published this, but he did this, Bob was mean to me. Take that what you will. So spiritualism also, okay, so this is when it came out. It was published in 1909. This is during the time of spiritualism. Which I will talk about spiritualism later, but I'm going to give you like a tiny, I don't know what to call it. Cliff Notes version, thank you Hydra. Cliff Notes version of spiritualism. So, spiritualism usually becomes very popular during times of extreme death, okay? So, the plague, World War I, influenza, like, all of these, like, time periods where a lot of people die, that is when spiritualism really tends to kick off. That's when people want to do spiritualism things to try to connect with their loved one. Which I understand. It's fine. Let me get to tea because it should. As a good tea. So this usually all comes about in times when there's a lot of death and people don't get to say goodbye. People died overseas and you didn't get to say goodbye to your loved ones, your sons, your husbands, fathers, all of those things. So, spiritualism became a way to talk to the people that you have lost. And it became very popular. And again, I will talk about it more when I talk about the, the Fox Sisters? Yes, the Fox Sisters. We'll go into a much deeper deep dive of spiritualism then. Because you have to know basically everything about spiritualism in order to understand the Fox Sisters. And if anybody knows about the Fox Sisters who's listening, I see you. So, this is how I learned it, is because I learned it from, I learned it from my father, who's also a tarot reader, so it kind of gets it gets kind of passed down from family member to family member. You can just go and buy the tarot book if you want to and learn it from there. There's nothing stopping you. But I've always said that there's talents that people have and don't have the talent for it, then you don't got the talent for it. It's okay. There's no need to force it. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I'm a horrendous artist. I cannot draw to save my life. All of my stuff for drawing and everything like that is done by Hollow Point Art, which I really appreciate him. Yeah, my model. Over there. He's the one who drew my model, because I can't draw for shit. I don't have the talent for it. And that's okay. So, let me see. So now that we've gone over the history of the tarot deck and stuff like that, let me, I guess, talk about how I read tarot. So how I usually read tarot is that I will ask a question of the cards. This is a very personal thing for me. I talk to the cards. The cards talk back. I know sounds weird, but just roll with it. So usually I talk to the cards talk to me, we have a conversation, I ask a question. The cards will then give me a card that will answer my question. Okay. Roll with it. So usually when I read a card, there will be something on a card that the deck will give me that will, like, basically outshine everything else going on in the card. So if you're asking about an emotional problem, like, why doesn't Bob like me? Why does my best friend Bob not like me? I'm trying to be best friends with Bob and he doesn't like me. You'll get a lot of water cards because emotion, clothes, ugh. If you're asking about money problems, it'll give you a lot of pentacles. The pentacles will really kind of shine to me more than what, like, the base knowledge is. These will be, like, really important cards, like, things that will just go, like, wah, 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 to me. So that's usually how I read the cards. But there is a standard amount of, like, what the cards tend to mean. I have technically organized my cards before I did this, but I don't really like organizing my cards because I feel like it messes them up when you go to read again. So we're gonna do this as best as we can. Alright, let me move this out of the way. So I'm gonna show you my Rider-Waite deck, but I do not want to use this for tonight. I do have a separate deck of cards that I will be using for this, so I will be talking about it from there. Let me see. So I just wanted to show what my deck looks like for Rider-Waite. Hello, Jack Jack. This is Jack Jack. Don't drink my tea. He likes to sit on my desk. But unfortunately my microphone is where his bed usually is. His bed's right there. Jack Jack. Sneeze in my tea, please. Come here. So we'll see if he settles there. I severely doubt it, but we're gonna give it a shot. Oh, hello. You did not settle where I thought. Tommy says hi. The other thing with cats and tarot decks is actually there's a thing about cats and tarot. Cats really like tarot decks. They like the reading aspect of it. I don't know. They just always do. Every time I ever bring out my tarot deck, the cats always come. Oh, no. Stay over there. Stay over there. Okay. Okay, Jack. So this is my Rider-Waite deck. I'm not going to show them off too much, but this is usually the pattern that everybody sees everywhere and recognizes as tarot decks. Yes, Jack. Yep. Oh. Yes. We love the tarot. So these are my cards. These are the cards that I will generally use when I am asking a question myself. This deck specifically is every deck has personalities. This deck specifically has quite a personality problem. And will tell you the truth whether or not you like it or not. Just letting you know. And Jack is killing me just a little bit. So, this is my deck, but I'm not going to use that deck today. Now, this deck is a different deck, done by a different artist, but we're going to use this one today. I usually keep my decks in covers because I like my decks being covered and protected as best as I can. So, okay. So this is not the typical style for a deck, but very pretty. And we'll go over each card as well, so, you know, if you don't see a card, we'll go over it. So, I wanted to start with the Fool. Lovely. So, this card... is called the Fool. And when I'm reading a card, if something pops up specifically in this deck, in this card, like if you're asking me about, am I going to make a good decision? Am I going to make a bad decision? I'm really... Any info for commissioning custom decks, like the dedicate an artist for a series, I don't actually have any information on that. I know that there is a lot of different decks that you can. If you ever go into a witchy store, you will find a lot of decks. It's basically a wall of decks. There is ones that I want, just for fun. Hydra, what's that one deck called? The Cyberpunk had a tarot deck in the game, and I really want that deck. Just cause. Also, apparently Jack is just going to be joining us today. You also don't have to add the spiritualism to any of the cards of decks. Yeah, you can just have them up. I actually have a tarot deck up in my kitchen just because they're really pretty. They're really pretty art. The only thing is that for me, I don't decorate my house with any deck that speaks to me. Because if it speaks to me, then that generally means it's picking me. And I don't want to offend anything. You know. So, anyway, this card, if you were to ask, hey, am I about to make a dumb decision? And the Fool comes up, you can pretty much guess what that means. Usually, let me see, I have like the terms right here. Let me see. So here's the other thing about tarot decks, is that they're very interesting. Is that I can give you this card, or I can give you it like this. Okay? What are you giggling about? Setting the cards on Jack. Yeah. I mean, if he's gonna be here, might as well make him useful, right? Well, don't sit on my shifter, though. Thank you. Shift button, that's rude. Now I've lost my definition. So, tarot decks usually will have one of two ways. So when you ask a question, however the card falls in the position that it falls. The basics, though, is that if it's upright, it's generally good. If it's reversed, it's bad. Those are your general rules, okay? For the Fool, it usually means new beginnings, freedoms, innocence, originality, like you come up with an original plan, adventure, idealism, spontaneity, you know, good, happy, woo, things. Reversed generally means reckless, careless, distracted, naive, foolish, gullible, stale, and dull. So, depending on the position of what you're asking, depending on, because usually there's different positions that you can use for a deck. But if I was to get a card from this, and let's say there's a cliff right here, I know it's, but there's a cliff right here. If the cliff is really like prominent to me, then it would be you're about to walk right off a cliff. You know, you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention to things, and you are about to walk straight off a cliff. So keep that in mind if it was reversed. The other things I have seen in this deck is like he's a very happy fellow. So, you know, you're making a decision for yourself for your own mental health. Go for it. I've also seen it was reversed. The dog that is in there is going to be nipping at your heels, trying to tell you, hey, take a minute, take a stop. Look around, look what you are about to do. So there's different things that you say for this deck, right? So that is the Fool. And this is the first of the major arcana. Okay. So like I said, there's the minor and the major. This is not a king card or a queen or a joker. It is part of it because it's the major arcana. So it has its own meaning and its own purpose. Let me see if I can find the Magician. Look at that. I think they're all in order. They are in order. I don't think I did. That's very... So that is the Fool. That is the first of the major arcana. The second one is going to be the Magician. And with this, let me see, what is their official name for it? The Magician is willpower, desire, being respectful, skill, ability, concentration, manifestation. And when it is reversed, which remember, upright is good, reversed is generally bad. Manipulation, cunning, trickery, wasted talent, illusion, and deception. And depending on where it is in your cards, what deck it is, how you're asking questions, will greatly depend on what the meaning. Let me see, what have I gotten from the Magician before? I usually get this upright. I rarely get this reversed. And it's usually what I get is that it's a strong male figure in your life. You know, something like a father, a teacher, a positive male role model is usually what I get. And like, he's trying to teach you something. You need to look and listen to him. When it's reversed, it generally is like you're not listening to whoever you should be listening to. That's usually how I get this card. Like, you're not listening to your higher up, the person that you should be listening to. Your father, your parent, your boss, something along those lines. That's usually how I get this card. And this is, I guess technically it is, the tarot deck has the numbers on there. So this one is 0, the Fool, the Magician. The High Priestess card. I actually love the art on this card. Very pretty. Once again, upright is good, versus generally bad, right? So the High Priestess generally has unconscious, intuition, mystery, spirituality, higher power, and reversed is repressed intuition, hidden motives, superficiality, confusion, cognitive dissonance. I've gotten this card a few times, and it really kind of depends on the situation. I've had a few, like, look at the pillars that are behind her. One is white, one is black. Oh, these always end up standing out to me for some reason, and it's usually your balance. Now she holds a sphere in her hand, and that will pop out at me. Really all just depends on what you are asking. It can be a very powerful female presence, just like in the way that the Magician is a very male presence, like something along those lines. The High Priestess can be a female important presence, like a mother, a teacher, boss, something along those lines, but a female presence, right? And again, it just depends on what your card deck looks like for what she would look like. Empress. I guess the Empress. Okay. So the Empress, for it. So she is usually, when she is upright, divine feminine, sexuality, fertility, nurturing, activity, abundance in nature. Reversed, impurity, overbearing, negligence, smothering, lack of growth, lack of progress. When I have gotten her in question, instead of question, really a mother. That's usually what her purpose is as a card, is a mother figure, mother type. Whether or not it's because you're going into becoming a mother, or your mother is talking to you, giving you advice, this is generally her card. So, that in mind. But I haven't read like a whole bunch of decks, but usually my questions don't really revolve around very much, so I don't really get a whole lot of them. Now, the Emperor. This one I usually... stability, structure, protection, authority, control, practicality, focus, and discipline. Reversed. Tyrant, domineering, rigid, stubborn, lack of discipline, and recklessness. Now, usually for me, I always end up doing the Empress as the mother figure, the Emperor as the father figure. So if you were asking me a question about, you know, how come my parents won't let me move out on my own? And you got 2 cards, it would be well, your parents have a... I've had that happen a few times. He has a golden scepter, which I have seen a few times has popped out to me during a reading. Is just... there is a male figure who is in charge of the money. This in mind. So, you know, sure, maybe if you're upset that your dad didn't do something, well, he's thinking about the money. Why can't I buy a car? Well, because I said so. He's thinking about the money. The Hierophant. Oh, hello. Hello, Jack. Welcome back. He went to get a snack. Anyway, this one can have kids. Julie has kids. Depends on the deck. Sometimes they're kids, sometimes they're monks. Depends. Also seen followers. These ones, it looks like oh. Please don't rub my mouth. I'm sure everybody loves you, but they don't need you. Anyway. No, you really want to step on the... Okay. So, for this one, usually... no. One Cthulhu in the Great Old Ones deck. Yes! Actually. We do have a really cool tapestries, and the Hierophant is actually a Hydra's favorite because it is Cthulhu. Is usually the main character on that card. But upright usually means tradition, social groups, conventionality, conformity, education, knowledge, belief. Reverse means rebellion, unconventionality, nonconformity, new methods, and ignorance. To me, it depends on what, again, I'm a broken record at this point. It depends on what you are asking in the deck of cards and what the cards would show to me. It might show me that, like, hey, you know, you need to step in line and follow the leader. It could be, you know, you need to take charge of your position. You are in this position, you take charge of it. Something ending along those lines. That was in the way. The next one is the Lovers, but this one is kind of a little spicy. So, this card, take that as you will, usually means love, union, partnership, relationship choices, romance, balance. It also means disharmony, imbalance, conflict, detachment, bad choices, indecision. Usually whenever I get this card, it usually is a couples are fighting, right? If I get it reversed, it's couples are fighting. If it's together, it's a, you know, ooh, but I understand. Yeah. Look, some decks are a little bit better about hiding what's there. This deck is not. It's not. It's very yeah. So we're just gonna do that. So I've had it be we're as a couple, you're not getting along. I've had it as a you need to follow your partner, you know, you trust this person, follow them. It depends what it is, what the card, what the question is. How easy. Really, this is some tarot decks are better than others. I've seen a few where these two are very well clothed. This is just not that bad. So, next card. The Chariot. It is going to be success, ambition, determination, willpower, control, self-confidence, and focus. Forceful, no direction, no control, powerless, aggression, and obstacles. Just like how Jack is an obstacle to ambition, talking about character. If what? Right there. Or you want to flop. So, this card, I've gotten it a few times. I don't really get it super often, but I have gotten it a few times. Usually what will like to stand out to me is usually the white and the black, whatever. Usually, sometimes they're horses, sometimes they're phoenixes, sometimes they're, I don't know, insert something. And usually it's a black and a white one. And these will usually represent balance to me. You know, you're fighting between the good and the bad. I believe it first when I got it last, and it was you're fighting between the balance. Good and bad. What you want to do versus what you think you should do. I've also gotten it a few times where it was the guy was what was standing out to me. You know, hey, you're standing there being super confident and like prepared. You know, you know where you're going and you know the decision. Or you don't know what you're doing. You are currently being driven by the wolves in your head. Kind of you. So throw that thing. No, he's fine. I'm just having fun with the fact that he's being Jack Jack right now. And pretty sure everyone is gonna love him more than my conversation about the cards, because that's usually how it goes. Oh hey, my website died for the meetings. Oh, okay, it's back. All right. So this card is called the Strength card. It is represented by a woman and a lion. And it's usually courage, bravery, confidence, compassion, self-confidence, inner power. Reverse is going to be self-doubt, weakness, low confidence, inadequacy, cowardice, or forceful. Inadequacy. Shut up, Hydra. Oh my god. I don't know if you can hear him giggling in the background, but how dare he. So this card, I've gotten a few times, and it's usually the Taming the Inner Beast, what I've usually called it. That if you are doing something and you are afraid or you are scared of your decisions, the if I should or shouldn't, this is usually the card I would get, is like, do you have the confidence and bravery to do what you know you need to do? Okay. So that is that card. I've seen it drawn in so many different ways, but alright, this one is actually my favorite card. It is the Hermit. He is usually representative of self-reflection, introspection, contemplation, withdrawal, solitude, search for self. Reversed is loneliness, isolation, recluse, being antisocial, rejection, and anxiety. I've gotten this card, and usually how it was that, you know, your light will be your way. You need to be doing what you can. Your light, meaning like your decision. Your decision should be guiding your way. You should not be taking this for granted. I've actually seen this driven drawn in so many different ways. I really love this card. It is a beautiful card. And I feel like it's very special to me. Because it's just very well drawn. And as somebody who likes to spend a lot of time in contemplation and self-isolation, makes sense. Define draw again, like how to shuffle it, flip it around. Is it flip and turn or burn and shake it out? It's so when I draw this card, so usually the process of tarot is that you'll sit there and you'll shuffle the deck until you feel like the deck has an answer. You'll be sitting there, shuffle. And then you'll draw a card. So, sit there. Shuffle. Oh, the Hermit! Sometimes when you shuffle it around, it'll come up like this. And that's how you get the upright versus the reversed. And I've had a few people have it where I hand them the deck basically upright for them to shuffle to ask the deck the question, and they will hand it back to me reversed, and that's just oh, you're not feeling very positive today, are you? Ooh. Well, I've also had cards flop out of a deck, and when the cards flop out of a deck, I always have that as The tarot deck wants to tell you right now. Like, this isn't part of your question, but you should know this. Hey, you need to know this. That's usually when a card will pop out of a deck for me. There. So I will actually show how to do that probably at the end. But the minor arcana are kind of not as like, oh my god, as the major arcana, so I wanted to talk about the major arcana and then we can kind of go from there, you know? Yeah. While you guys enjoy a flopped Jack, give me a second. He has a thing about tarot decks. He loves his tarot deck. Alright. Wheel of Fortune. Are we almost done? We are almost done with this. So, the Wheel of Fortune is usually symbolized change, cycles, fate, decisive movements, luck, fortune, and unexpected events. As well as reversed is bad luck, luck of control, clinging to control, unwelcome changes. Usually when I've gotten this card, it was this is how your fate is gonna go, and you just have to listen. Or, look, the devil's spinning your wheel, you need to be aware of this. That's really all I've ever gotten is like, hey, you are in control of this, or you are not in control of your fate, and you need to just let this happen. And you will get through this. And we have the Justice card. Next. Cards. Yes, Jack. Okay. Not bringing it. A. Yep. Alright. And the Justice. So, Justice is usually justice, karma, consequence, accountability, the law, truth, honesty, cause and effects, injustice, retribution, disruption, unfairness, avoiding accountability. I actually really love the Justice card because I'm a Libra, so the Justice is my card. So this is usually if you're asking a question about fairness. I don't feel like it's fair that my boss skipped me for a promotion. Well, yeah, you know, you're right. They did skip you over for a promotion, and it was indeed unfair. I'm so sorry about that. Things that have popped out for me is her scales, as usual. You know, scales of justice, sword. The punishment will come from this. It might just take time. The Hangman. I get the Hangman a lot, which really is upsetting me. The Hangman is usually sacrifice, waiting, uncertainty, lack of discretion, perspective, contemplation. Stalling, disinterest, stagnation, avoiding sacrifice, standstill, and apathy. Every time I have gotten this card, I swear to God, I get this card a lot. It usually means I have to sacrifice something I don't want to sacrifice. Or I just need to wait and see what happens. And I hate that. I hate that. It's the worst thing ever. Yeah, you're doing fine. Just wait. Things will happen. I want them to happen now. Hate that. The tarot deck does a good job at providing perspective, but also sometimes I don't want to listen to it. Now this is the card that everybody gets in TVs and movies. This is the Death card. Everybody thinks that the Death card is such a bad So the sites are guides versus what you feel in the moment. Yeah, so these are just basically, I'm reading off of the website of like what the traditional meanings are. These are what, like, if you were freshly learning tarot, you would usually look these things up. To me, the tarot deck will tell me what it wants to tell me. It's like general for the website. Yeah, it's just general information. It's your basic. How do I put this in Warhammer autism, Tommy? It's like there's different factions, aren't there? So it's like knowing that there's different factions in Warhammer of the good and versus the bad guys. But when you're actually playing, you have like your very specific people, right? You know that this guy is good for this versus this guy is good for that. That's kind of what this is.
But like knowing the space are good guys, but not all the factions are good.
Basically. Yeah, so yeah, take that. If you could hear that. It's basically that. If you can, it's your basic versus what the extra. For yarn nerds out there, it would be like knowing that Red Heart is a good yarn. It's a solid brand. But I appreciate Lion brand yarn more because of how soft it is. Yeah, the Red Heart is a great brand and it's fine and it will do the job. But Lion brand is just a little better and it'll give you a little extra deal. That's basically what this is. I'm reading off of the basics because I'm not going to read on screen. Because for me, that goes against what I usually do. I prefer to have my people in person when I'm reading their cards. I want them to ask my deck. I don't want me to ask for them. Because it's not this. So it's hard to give good descriptions when you're like, yeah, you know, it's sort of like this. It depends on the question. Fortunate. But the death card is always really funny to me because everybody uses the death card in TVs, movies, and everywhere else as like, oh my god, you're gonna die. Never is. The death card means transformation, endings, change, transition, letting go, release. Reversed is fear of change, repeating negative patterns, resisting change, stagnation, decay. Not death. It's never gonna be, you're gonna die. It's always means change. Anytime I've ever gotten it, it was always there is going to be a change in your way and you will not be able to stop it. You know, it's you need to listen to this. This is a change in your life. It is going to happen. There is no choice around it. You need to just accept that this change is going to happen. I'm sorry. But I always love that everybody always brings this up as the, oh my god, it's the scary card. It's really not. It's really not. Alright, Temperance. Alright, Temperance, as you could probably guess, usually means balance, peace, patience, moderation, calm, tranquility, harmony, serenity, and reverse is exact opposite: imbalance, excess, extreme, discord, recklessness, and hastiness. I've gotten this, and usually in this deck, my Read or Write deck, usually represented by an angel holding 2 cups of water and pouring water back and forth. And when I've gotten this, it's usually like, gotten it reversed a lot, and it's usually, you know, you're twiddling your thumbs when you shouldn't be. You're waiting on something. You need to be calm. I've also gotten it where, you know, foot is one is in water and stepping on a stone. You are halfway between one decision and the other. You need to make a decision. Are you either going to be fully in the water or fully on? Whatever your decision is, you are stuck sitting there between back and forth, back and forth. You just can't decide. But that is that one. Oh, the other super scary card that everybody always brings up. But this website really just... The other one that everybody likes to bring up is, for scary reasons, is the death card, or the devil card. Because everybody always thinks that the devil card means the devil, traditionally. It really doesn't. Let me see. I love the internet when it works for me. Alright, we're pulling out the phone. I didn't want to bring out my my phone today. I wanted to use my thing, but apparently we're gonna do it this way. That's fine. Alright. So, usually, the devil card is gonna mean addiction, materialism, playfulness, and then reverse is usually freedom, release, and restoring control. Now, does any of that affinity? Sorry, internet. Gotta love it. I don't. So everybody usually thinks that the devil card is usually like, oh my god, it means the devil's coming after you. No, it usually means you're trapped. You're stuck in your decision. This is one of those cards that, like, reversed or upright, it's still kind of bad. If it's upright, it means you're stuck. How I've usually gotten it. When it's reversed, it was like, okay, well, you're breaking free of your chain, but your past will come to something along those lines. Those are usually what I've gotten it for, and that was not very fun. I didn't appreciate that. And the Tower. Tommy, I believe this is your favorite card, is the Tower, which is the only card in the entire deck where it's bad if it's upright, and it's bad if it's reversed. No matter what, this card just sucks. It is sudden upheaval, broken pride, disaster, more disaster, delayed disaster, fear of the unsuffering, or fear of suffering. How I've gotten this card is always been like a... One of the times I got this card, it was in the future spot, and it was, your future is gonna suck. Just be prepared. Most recently, it was, yeah, this track, yeah. It was watching the people that are falling are little people jumping out of the tower that's on fire. And it was like, oh, the people stood out to me. I was like, oh yeah. No, you're gonna feel this. You're gonna feel the pain. You're gonna feel the suffering that's about to happen. And I was like, oh, kitty. Hey. Awesome. Alright. In this deck, I completely forgot how very naked this deck was. Deck is a very naked deck. Okay. Oh, the star card. You know what that is a good point, is that it is not V2, so it should be fine. But I also would hate to get banned on Twitch because I showed a picture of a booby, and YouTube would be mad at me. So This one usually means hope, faith, rejuvenation, and then reversed is going to be faithlessness, discouragement, and insecurity. Now, it's hard to see because of my thumb. Curious this was a display deck. It is not a display deck. I actually use this deck. I just haven't actually used it yet. I bought it forever ago. I just have not actually used it, so I forgot about this. But it's hard to see. If I can. But she is basically pouring a jug of water back into the river, and on this side is pouring a jug of water into the land. So when I've gotten it, it's usually been the the jugs of water that have popped out at me, and it's usually always like, yeah, you're watering your wants, you're planning things out, but you have to keep in mind. Last time I got, oh, it was like savings, and it was like you have to, yeah, you want to spend money on the fun, cool things and water the land, but you should be saving something back. Oh, don't forget about that. Jugs of water. Yes, that is where I had the because I almost just said just the first word and not all of the words altogether. Anyway. No, I'm not allowed to be because I'm just reading tarot cards, okay? They are jugs of water. They're literally jugs of water. There's just some other jugs anyway. The moon for this one is usually joy, success, celebration, positivity, and then reversed is obviously negativity, depression, sadness. Don't bonk me. I didn't say nothing. You said something. Tommy said something, actually, to be entirely honest. So this one is like, when I've gotten it, if you could, it is a wolf and a domesticated dog. So it was let your, go outside and go howl at the moon. Go have fun, you know? But, you know, keep in mind that you've got two sides, and sometimes it's good to let one side go. And go and have fun. But also, beware. Stir the pot. Or stirring the pot. Stirring something. But, you know, sometimes it's okay to let your wild side out controllably. And other times, you know, everything in moderation, including moderation. Alright. We're almost done. Got 2 more cards. And then we have the sun, which is going to be joy, success, celebration. Oh, I read the wrong one, but oh well. And reverse is usually going to be your negativity, sadness. When I've gotten this card, it's usually been, look at how happy. You're going to be just as happy. No, I'm not done. Hey, there's more time. There's more time. We'll talk more about stuff. Don't worry about it. We're going to talk about more other things. But usually when I've gotten this card, it's always been, look at how bright the sun is. You've got good things coming. The sunflowers behind you. Happy. Not happy. That's basically this card. And let me see. The Judgment card. The Judgment card usually is reflection, beckoning, awakening. Reversed is gonna be we probably should have, yes. I didn't think about it until it was too late. Reversed is lack of self-awareness, doubt, and self-loathing. When I've gotten the card, I usually have seen it as like, it's Judgment Day. It's, you know, your time is done. You've been called to account for your decisions. like my decisions of using this deck without checking if it had any nudity in it. That was a decision that I did not make. And I've come to feel it now. Alright. And last of the major arcana is gonna be the world. Yes, my thumb is placed there specifically. Fulfillment, harmony, completion, incompletion, and no closure. So when I have gotten the world, usually it was your worldly decision. If you were gonna make a decision, what pops out. To me, if it was here, you have a piece of water scene. On this side, you have basically fire and brimstone, mountains, and peaceful clouds. So I've had a few of these where like the things up on corners, but also, hey, you have to keep in mind what's important. I've had it of like, you need to keep in mind that your partner is what's important, then you should. Everything's centered around them. Or everything's centered around them. You need to branch out. There's other things in the world. So that is the major arcana. Okay? Now that is what is not in regular decks. That is not in what's in regular card decks. That ball right there. There we go. Little sheep. The sheep of censoring. That's what that sheep is. So these are going to be your minor arcana. Now, these are separated out into 4 decks, or 4 suits, like a regular deck, right? You have a King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, and 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 1. Now, for the Pentacles, I usually interpret the Pentacles as money. So these ones are usually going to be the ones that if you are asking a money question, these are the ones that's going to pop up the most. And it's really interesting the amount of times when you're like, oh, I have this question, I don't know, and then it's like, money, money, money. Oh, I guess this is a money question. No, interesting. Got it. There is, of course, a lot of cards, and each one generally has their own meaning, but the important things that you need to pay attention to are the Pentacles! If you couldn't tell. Let's see, let me pull a random one. Actually, chat, go ahead and give me a random pentacle number. So it goes from Ace to 10, and then there's the Page, the Knights, and the Queen, and give me a random pentacle number, and I will go ahead and pull it and tell you what I usually use them for. 3! We have a 3 of Pentacles, a 6. Tommy going first, so this is the 3 of Pentacles. When I have gotten it, it was that you are working incredibly hard for the money you have. And it shows, because look at this. You know, the dedication that you have put to it is giving you profit. This is gonna be, you're not paying attention to the details. You need to be paying attention to the details, or you're gonna lose money you have. You know, you need to put your hard work in order to get your riches. But you're not doing that. Oh my god, you're doing that and you're getting the money. And Hydra voted for 6. 6 of Pentacles. Look at you. You are incredibly generous with it. You are giving your money away at every opportunity. You are helping society. Dude, you're giving your money away at every opportunity. You're not saving anything. You're not holding anything for yourself. You're just pushing it away. Right? So that is going to be the Pentacles. And then the next suit is going to be Swords. So go ahead, same thing. Go ahead and pick a random number of swords. That out. 2! We have a 2 from Hydra, but let me show. So here's the king, the queen, the knight, the page. Five, 4, 1, and a 5. Alright. So, knives is usually going to be, as you could guess, is chatting, fighting. Sometimes focus. I've had it a few times where it was focus, like you're focusing on something. For 2, for Hydra, it's gonna be, look, we're blindfolded and not paying attention. That's good. You're blindfolded and not paying attention. You are quite literally standing there in the middle of the ocean, wielding the sword. Get a grip. Understand what you're going through. Look at what you're... Take the blindfold off. If I've... This... I have gotten it upright. It's been, look at your swords. You are holding your swords at the perfect angle. You are making your decision, but you are making your violent decision correctly. You know what you're doing. You don't even look. 5. Where's that 5? Oh, 5. I love this. This one, I usually get reversed, actually. It's really funny. So for this one, I would say if it is upright, you know, you're paying attention while everybody else is, you know, you're the one who's actually got the idea here straight. You're removing the weapons from the situation before anybody even has the opportunity. Reversed is, man, you think you are so smart, don't you? You think you've got it figured out, but there are still 2 waiting. You don't have everything. You need to look around. So that is swords. Wands. Now the wands are a very pretty card. If you yellow, these card decks. This is usually going to be kind of magic. Your consciousness, where your morals stands, a very earthly card. For wands, I want to see 7 of wands. Kami. I know wants. You wants to. I wanna. I understand. Kami, is there any card of wands that you want to see? 1. Fix the ace. Alright. So, 7 of wands. That is upright. You are fighting. You are fighting for your decision. You are fighting for your morals. Left, right, and center. They are all there ready for you, and you are standing there ready to go. Reversed. Why are you fighting? There is so many things that you are fighting against, but you know what you're fighting for? Do you know what your decision is for why you're fighting? Now, Kami, take the good card. The aces are very powerful cards. They really do a lot. So for this, is a DNA strand in this one. So, like, for a regular Ace of Wands, I would say this is like the power card. You have the power. You have this. You have... Your decision is here and you are standing with it. Also, your decision is here and you're standing with it, but are you thinking about this? Why is this so powerful? Ask yourself that question, right? And finally, the last suit. This one is the Suit of Cups. It handles feelings, stuff like that. So go ahead and your requests for cards. Go ahead and off. The King of Cups. Cups. 10. For 2, 1. Okay. King. I was gonna say, what number is K? So, King and Queen. Interesting. So, for the King of Cups, it's going to be, you know, either you are or a male figure around you has how tight they're holding their chalice. They know what they feel and they know what they're doing. They are with it morally. They understand morally what they are, whether or not that's you or a male person around you. They know what's going on. Reversed, either you or a male around you is losing it. They are not in control. They're not in control of their own emotions. They're losing it. They're upset. Talk to them. And the Queen of Cups. So look at her. She is quite literally the definition. We're just sitting there on the beach, ready to go. What would I say about this card? I would say it would be just the same as the King. Either a female form or yourself. If female around you or yourself are feeling strong and confident in your decision as a female, or a female around you is strong with their decision. Or bitch is whack. She doesn't understand what's going on. She is losing it. Either you are losing it or a female around you, and you need to go talk to them. She's having a hard time, or you, if you are a female, are also having a hard time. So that is the deck of cards. But I will show without asking a question, because I don't want to. But I would like to show how to read on stream. Let me grab a couple here. These are actually, by the way, these are needle toppers. Keep your projects slipping off of the needles. But we're going to use them as sensors today. Because you might need them. I was unaware. That's my bad. So, alright. So if I was to, let's say, pretend to ask somebody a question, or ask the deck a question, go ahead and shuffle the cards. Now, I have very tiny, so shuffling is a little bit different than anybody else's shuffling. Also, the other thing is that shuffling like this, I don't know, what do you call that? The regular shuffle? Like, yeah. The dealer shuffle, the bending of the cards is super taboo. Do not ever, if somebody gives you their tarot cards to shuffle, if you do that, bridge, is that bridge shuffle? Yeah, bridge shuffle. Yeah. Any of that kind of like really aggressive shuffling is going to cause problems. Because the deck will not like you. Be a problem for you or the deck. That will piss off the deck, and it will piss off the reader, because you've basically just disrespected their entire cards. Don't do that. Don't disrespect people's cards. This is not as much of a game as it is asking important questions, getting other perspective. Don't fuck with people's cards. Okay, got a couple of this, got that. Okay, so usually the way people will ask a question is it's gonna be a yes or no question, or usually questions that I usually guess. Four of Pentacles reversed, okay? Yes. No. Ooh. The Five of Pentacles reversed. Actually, it's just gonna be one, but usually I do choose. So, ooh. Yes or no question for using Pentacles. Somebody was curious about if they should get the car that they want to. Well, from just these two, don't do it. From just these two, it would be a don't do it, man. You are not holding tight to your money, and you are gonna end up losing it. You know, you're trying to hold on, but it's gonna get lost, and you will end up in poverty. And so that's usually how this would work. What I will do, my favorite questions to ask a deck are usually going to be past, present, and future questions. So it's going to be like, what decisions have I made that affects my present that will end up affecting my future? Those are usually the questions I like to ask. Oh, here. If anybody's ever seen Princess and the Frog, the tarot deck in there is actually pretty accurate. I mean, obviously with some funness, right? Kami was asking about the deck, and I was talking about how cards will sometimes fall out of the deck. So this would, if I go to shuffle, okay, and oh my god! The Two of Swords popped out all by itself. I definitely didn't help anything. Anyway, the Two of Swords popped out. So the deck is letting you know that you are blindly making a decision. And, you know, you're, either your opinion is correct or you're blindly making a decision to cut something, or cut somebody off, whatever. And you're in the right. So the deck just wanted to let you know, hey, you're in the right for making this decision. Blech. So, let me see. So, usually what it is I would do a past, present, future. Man, this day, I really need to shuffle this. How'd I do a job? Book me, what it? So, for this, we have the Three of Hearts, Three of Swords, the Three of Swords, and for this, what would this be? You've been hurt before, you've gotten backstabbed, you've been beaten up and left out in the rain, you know. Was it rode hard and put away wet? But that's a little, yeah. You've been beaten up and left in the rain. We'll call it that. And that's your past. That's how you have experienced the past, is you've been just kind of abused and left out. And, you know, backstabbed and everything else. Apologies, that's my alarm. And in your present, you are feeling like you've just been, you're dead. You're emotionally dead. You're physically just without any feelings anymore. You're just kind of over it. You know, you're just tired of the fighting, etc. And in the future, You're gonna think that you've got it all set. You're gonna think that you have got this figured out so well, but you're not paying attention. You think you've got it, but you're missing out time. That in mind. You know, you're gonna think you've got it all, but you don't. So that would be how I usually would read cards. Let me see. Does anybody have any questions before I think I end that stream? Because that's tarot. It's nothing really like amazing or crazy. It's just tarot. Yeah. I'm taking a sip of apple juice because my throat is dry. The first time I've ever streamed for nearly 2 hours, I could feel it. So let me answer Hydra's because it came in first. So what card do you think is the most interesting?
Favorite.
The most interesting, but not my favorite. Look here. I really feel like I know exactly. There's so many. Each card really kind of depends on what you are asking, the situation. But a card I always think is interesting to get, that I feel like is the most telling, is gonna be the Five of Cups. So, usually when I get the Five of Cups in a reading, it's really because, you know, look here, you're literally crying over spilled milk, basically. But you're not paying attention to the 2 cups that you have. I can tend to get into this kind of mental state where I am so focused on what's happened that I'm not even looking at what's good. I'm just focusing on the bad, not paying attention to the things that are right next to quite literally. And I feel like this is a great card of like, hey, don't be an idiot. Yeah, you're all feeling your emotions right now, but keep in mind what you have. And I feel like this is a great perspective card for literally anybody to get it. Take a look around, you know? And self-readings. So what do you mean, Kami, by self-readings? Because I read my cards myself. Is that what you're talking about? Why, like, can I read my cards myself? Why do I read my cards myself? I'm gonna answer that anyway. So I do read my cards myself because usually I will have a conversation with a deck. And the deck will talk to me, I will talk to the deck, and I will ask my questions. How to avoid bias? Ooh, that is a good one. That is a good question. That is a great question, Kami. Unfortunately, just like with every decision ever in life, if you are making the decision, it is quite literally very hard to avoid bias. I try to let the card tell me what it is trying to tell me. So if I'm doing a self-reading and I get the cups, the Six of Cups reversed, I might be like, well, fuck you, I don't want to listen to Six of Cups. You can't, though. The deck is giving you a different perspective. The deck is trying to give you advice and trying to help you. So, we're kind of just stuck in you have to put your own emotions aside when you're reading cards for yourself. So as much as I would love to be like, well, fuck you, I don't listen to the fact that I'm having a problem with controlling my emotions within a pairing. Talking to a friend, spouse, etc., and I am losing the battle on my emotions. That I can't put emotions to. The cups are what are standing out to me. I have to just listen to what the text says. And that takes training. That takes a lot of time and training to learn how to not bias yourself. Which is also why I have a problem with, well, how do I put it? With certain tarot readers that usually ask for money. Is that they're going to put the bias in there because they want to give you the best story possible. They won't be trying to give you a different perspective or to just tell you what the cards told them. They're trying to give you a great story, so you'll give them. And that's always where I end up having a hard time with the morals of different tarot readers. And actually, I can talk about that too. So, how I was trained to read tarot is that there are very specific rules for tarot. One of the rules is that you're not allowed to ask for money unless it is quite literally only like gas money to get to somebody. And a cup of coffee. Those are the only time that is like the only thing that you can ask for a tarot reading in exchange for a tarot reading. If they're asking for money, they're scamming. That's it. And they're not a moral tarot reader. The only thing you can ask for, just that. Can I have a couple of bucks for gas and a cup of coffee? Now, my whole thing about not wanting to read a deck of cards to somebody over the internet is that they can't ask the question themselves. They have to tell me. And when I'm reading somebody else's cards, in order to avoid bias, like what you said, Kami, I would prefer that somebody ask a question to the deck themselves. Because if I know, I might try to look into it a little bit more. I've had friends ask me about marriage problems, relationship problems. And I'm like, don't tell me what you want to ask. Just ask the deck. The deck will tell what you are looking for. I'm just here to read the cards for you, but your question. If you tell me that you're having relationship problems with your boyfriend that I don't like, I might end up looking more into a specific card than others, and that's going to ruin your reading. And that's not fair. So I don't like doing that, as well as I can't. To me, this is a very specific thing that is very sacred. I can't guarantee your safety from wherever you are. You know? I know this sounds incredibly vague. It sounds incredibly vague and also kind of like a threat. But if you are within my area, within my protection, I can guarantee that you leave the tarot reading maybe emotionally harmed, but not physically. I can't guarantee that if it's over the internet. So if you see those, like the TikTok readings and the live readings, those are also bullshit. I'm so sorry. I have had a friend who went to see a tarot reader and told her a lot of very, interesting? We'll go with interesting things. And basically she fully believed that she was going to meet her spouse. That's always what they end up telling you. Meet your spouse within such and such amount of time. And they'll give you these incredibly vague, basic answers. Oh, you're going to meet the love of your life within a couple of years. And you're gonna have 7 kids. I don't fucking know. And they always come up with some bullshit. Is there a format to questioning the deck? There is. So how I always want people to ask a deck of cards, my deck of cards, for a reading, is that you need to just ask the question. No, well, should I, if I was to do this, would this be technically a thing that would not, no, just, should I do this? Should I Should I move jobs? Should I leave my job? Should I go on that date with that guy? Should I go on that date with that gal? Should I do this? Or if you're wanting a yes or no question, ask it as a yes or no question. Just simple as that. If you're wanting insight into it, then ask the question plainly while you're shuffling the cards, because that's the very important thing. You have to ask the deck while you're shuffling. Because as you're doing that, you're basically, I think they're going, should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? Should I do this? And the deck will tell you when it's ready, when it has an answer for you. Which I think is very good. But anyway, that's how the format should be. That's how you should ask. That's how it works. And again, I have to give you my cards in order for you to ask that question. I can't do that if you're sitting in Montana and I'm in Texas. It doesn't work like that. So, yeah. Oh yeah, back to the. You just have to know who you're talking to, when you want card reading. Take it as that. It is a card reading to get different perspective. You don't need to put anything extra in it that you don't want. So if you ask a life or death question, I wouldn't take the card's answer as absolute. It is to give you a different perspective on your question. So whether or not to leave town and to quit your job and just leave town and go to somewhere else. The cards could provide you with a good way of like, well, sure, if you want to, think about this. Yeah, it's not like seeing the future. That's where a lot of psychics come in the problem, is that they are always saying that their readings are your prediction to the future. They're not. They're really not. It's a different perspective. So in this example, you're trying to figure out if you should cut all ties and move to a different town. Well, it might tell you, like, yeah, go ahead and, this would be a good opportunity for you, but, don't forget what's there, what's in your town right now. It's to give you extra things to think about or to reassure. And that's what I usually use the tarot deck for, is a different perspective. So yeah, I think that's about it. Unless there's any final questions, I think that's about it for my tarot deck, honestly. On top of the history and discussion about that, I feel like I talked really well for doing my first 2-hour stream. Yeah. I'm gonna call me another second if you think of anything. I also did 0 crochet throughout that entire thing. But that's okay. Yeah. That's alright. I'll do more crochet next time. Actually, let me see. What is my next... What can I give everybody? People who are here get a sneak peek of what my next stream is going to be talking about. Ooh, this is going to be good and not a poppy safe stream. I will be talking about the Bjork Stalker next week, which I'll give tiny bits of information. Basically, well, big shock, it's a stalker case, but it has a lot of interesting turns to it. I actually did a deep dive on my Twitter about this. So this is going to be kind of like a fun little chit chat about that. That's going to be exciting. Well then, okay, let me see. Hydra, can you help me find somebody to read? think we will be running out of here. If there is anybody. Then I think heading on to closing my cabin out for the day. Looking. I don't know who Lasso is, but I can do that. Oh, I do know who that person is. Okay, how in the hell do I rate again?
So you're gonna
Rate
go to
him.
that, yep.
Oh, got it, Lasso. Okay.
There.
Alright, and then just start raid.
You just start raid.
Okay, well then in that case, thank you everybody for coming and listening to my tale. I appreciate that people were able to stop in. I hope that this was informative and fun, and you got to learn a little bit about something that you may not have known about. So in that case, I'm gonna go ahead and kick you guys out of my cabin. So go ahead and walk out. Okay, bye everybody. Love you. See you guys in it later.